My name's Martin Kennedy. I'm a tenant hill farmer with my wife and family up in Highland Perthshire, and we have 650 ewes here and 60 cows. And I'm going to highlight one or two things that we do here on farm that not only helps the productivity of the farm but also helps in addressing climate change and enhancing biodiversity. The farm here is 650 hectares and rises from 800 feet to just over 2,500 feet. There's just over 600 hectares of rough grazing and just under 50 hectares of improved land. We have various breeds of cattle and sheep here to try and maximise the output on the varying degrees of quality in the land. On the better land we have the continental ewes and continental cows, and on the rougher land we have purebred Cheviots, purebred Blackies and 25 Highland cows. Since we introduced the Highland cattle in the hill in 2015, the hill has improved greatly, both in terms of its productivity and the biodiversity it creates. Our family have been involved in Agrienvironment schemes since the first Breadalbane ESA back in the 80s, and these schemes have evolved through various titles right up to the current AICS, Agrienvironment and Climate Scheme. There should in future be a more bottom-up approach to how these schemes are drawn up. Nobody knows better than those farmers and crofters on the ground what is actually there at present and historically. And if correct advice can be obtained and delivered through mutual understanding, then hopefully future schemes can help deliver positive outcomes. This was a wood which was clear felled around 12 years ago. When it was standing there was very little in terms of biodiversity, and as it wasn't replanted the vegetation became too overgrown for the likes of lapwings and oyster catchers, which you have just seen on grazed land and sharing habitats with livestock. We've now fenced this area, which will not only give us more grazing but will also encourage these waders into another habitat. One of the biggest changes we've made to the farm in recent years is starting a soil mapping programme whereby we sample a fifth of the farm each year to find out not only the pH level of the soil but also the phosphate, potash and magnesium levels. This gives us a better idea of its productive capacity and also optimises inputs, which maximises its productivity. We take 2 soil samples in every hectare, and these are analysed, then put in a map that highlights which areas are either low or high in various nutrients. This data is then transferred to the tractor that will be applying the nutrients. In our case, we have used this method for applying lime. The way it works is as soon as the tractor passes each individual mapped area, the tractor automatically adjusts the application rate. This means not only are we not wasting nutrients where they're not required, but we're applying extra where there is a deficit. The benefits are twofold, in that the soil is more productive for growing grass and arable crops, and its health is not compromised, therefore its carbon capturing capabilities are maximised. Our target pH is 6.2. This field we have here is one we soil sampled in 2018. It's almost 4.5 hectares. As you can see, the dark blue area is requiring 6 tonnes per hectare of lime, the light blue area is requiring 5 tonnes per hectare, the green area needs 4 tonne, the yellow 3 tonne, and the red area is requiring 1 tonne per hectare of lime to bring it up to that target pH of 6.2. We also discovered this field was seriously high in phosphates due to excess application in previous years, so this exercise has allowed us to reduce inputs but at the same time not reduce its output. This process of using variable rate applications isn't new. The arable sector has been using precision agriculture for many years, not only with variable rate applications, but also with fuel efficiency measures and yield mapping so that records can highlight where there are issues. Unfortunately, to date, true recognition for these efforts haven't been highlighted enough to the degree it should have been. Using this type of technology to keep our soils in tip-top condition has played a big part in the fact that our arable soils in Scotland haven't lost any of their carbon stocks in the last 30 years, something we should be proud of. Continuing work in research and development will play a big part in the future of farming and crofting, not only in an arable sense but also in the livestock sector, where animal health and welfare can be improved through using our world-leading research institutes, which will keep Scotland at the forefront when it comes to high production and environmental standards. We're certainly not unique with some of the things we're doing here on farm, but at the moment there are not the mechanisms nor the funding in place to make more of a difference. We now have an opportunity to showcase Scottish agriculture in the positive light it deserves, which will keep Scotland in a world-leading place when it comes to food production, climate change mitigation and environmental credentials. Let's take full advantage of this opportunity and deliver a future agricultural policy we can be proud of.